Okay, we are in Chapter 6, hands-on exercise number 1, and we are looking at the mortgage worksheet. This chapter is called What If Analysis, and it's all about decision making with Excel. In this first hands-on exercise, we're going to talk about creating a one-variable data table and a two-variable data table. This spreadsheet is designed to show you the differences, the impact on the differences in annual percentage rate on the cost of buying a home. So in this particular example, we have a house that costs $150,000. We've put $10,000 down, and we're going to finance $140,000. So we're going to take out a loan in the amount of $140,000. Our annual percentage rate is 4.0%, which is pretty low, but that's right around where APRs are right now. 30 years for this loan, 12 payment periods per year. So we're going to do monthly payments. The periodic interest rate is 0.33. That's the APR divided by 12. We are going to make a total of 360 payments. That's 300 times 12. Our monthly payment is going to be about $669. It will cost us $140 in principal and about $100,000 in interest. So the total to repay the loan will be $240,617.31, and here's the total interest paid. So we're going to learn a few things, but obviously the end result is we're going to create this one variable data table. So when we go to the hands-on exercise, the first place we start is by showing you how to do a step fill. In cell D4, where my cursor is now, I want to type 4%, and I'll hit enter. Okay. Now we're going to go to something new that we haven't done before. In the editing area of the home tab, we're going to do a fill. Now we've typically done fills down. We could do a right, up, or left fill. We're going to do a series, and we haven't done a series before. So let's click on series. And it says, is your series in a row or a column? Ours is in a column. We're going to go down this column. And it says, what is your step value? So we're going to go up 0.25%. 0.25% is what I want to do. And I want to stop when I get to 6%. So I've put in that my series is in rows, and a step value and a stop value, and then I'll hit OK. And what it does is it populates those cells. So here's what would happen if the interest rate was 4%, 4.25%, 5.75, and 6%, and so on. What we're going to type up here, we're going to have some of these things like monthly payment, total to repay loan, and total interest paid up here. Okay, so in cell E3, where my cursor is now, I want to type equals B12. So what we're doing is we're pointing to the monthly payment that we're going to make for this house. I'll go ahead and hit enter. And we want equals B13 for the next cell, and then equals B14 for G3. So right now I have monthly payment in one column, total to repay a loan in the second column, and total interest paid in the third column. Alright, now I want to select D3 through G12, and that is the entire table. I'll go to the Data tab, and now the whole chapter is called What If Analysis. Let's look at what we have here. Scenario Manager, Goal Seek, and Data Table. I want to click on Data Table. Now, it says if it's a two-variable data table like we're about to learn, you would have a row input and a column input. In this case, all we have is a column input, and the number that we're using to input is annual percentage rate. Where annual percentage rate is found is right here in cell B4. So I've put my cursor in column input cell, and I've clicked on B4. And let's hit enter. Okay, it has populated this, and let me show you how it has populated. It has populated this column of the table, column E, with monthly payment figures. So notice our monthly payment goes from about $669 to about $840 as our interest rate rises from 4% to 6%. Our total to repay the loan is $240,000 at 4% interest rate, but if the house has if the mortgage loan has a 6% interest rate, the total is $302,000. When the total is $302,000, we're paying back $140,000 in principal and $162,000 in interest. Notice that when the APR is 4%, we're only paying $100,000 in interest. Now we're going to go ahead and format the data table we just created. In cell, oops, I'm going to hit escape. In cell D3, I'm just going to type APR. That's the annual percentage rate. Let's come over to our cells, and we're going to put them into accounting number format. So I'll go to the Home tab and put all of these numbers into accounting number format. Okay, so its format it's looking better. Now these are titles, but they're also formulas. And we want the formulas to stay the same behind the scenes, pointing to cells B12, B13, and B14, but these are not descriptive at all. And if I was reading this particular table, I wouldn't know what these numbers are. I know their monthly payment, total to repay the loan, and total interest paid, but I'd rather see those words than the numbers that are there right now. So, from our number formatting, I want us to select more number formats. And from more number formats, we'll do custom. And scroll up to the very top and put the cursor in general. And then we can type something. We're going to type the word payment. Okay? We're going to type the word payment in quotes in that top box where it says type, and then hit OK. Alright? We're going to repeat the process for total repaid and total interest. So I'm going to go to the drop down. I'm going to select more number formats, custom, scroll up to general, and then instead of saying general, I'm going to type the word total repay, total repaid in quotes, and hit OK. And then I'm going to do the same thing with our third figure. Go to the number formats, more number formats, custom, scroll up to general, and I will type total interest. And then hit OK. And these are a little bit more descriptive than what we had typed before. So we have now created a one variable data table with monthly payments, total repaid for the life of the loan, and total interest. And it really does illustrate, as annual percentage rate goes up, the house cost really goes up because of the interest. It's the difference, 2% in the annual payment rate, or annual percentage rate, is the difference between paying $240,000 or $302,000. Next up is the two variable data table. We're simply going to type 200,000, 250,000, oops, 225,000, sorry, and 250,000 in cells J3, K3, and L3. So we've just typed these. These aren't formulas, they aren't anything else. In I4, we're going to type 4%, much like we did before. And in this time, we're going to do the same kind of fill series, and we're going to go a step value of 0.25% and a stop value of 8%. So it's going to range from 4 to 8%. And I made a mistake, which I will undo. Let's try this again. It must be in the column and not the row. So we'll series in columns, step value 0.25%, stop value 8%. And let's hit OK. Alright, and now I have to I'll increase the number of decimal places by 2. Alright, so we've got our APR here. We've got the cost of the home up here. It ranges from $200 to $225 to $250. Now, what we want to populate all of this table are monthly payment figures. So, in cell I3, we are going to put B equals B12 and hit enter. I'll have to expand this column just a little bit, but this is what's going to happen. Okay, so now let's look at what we have. We haven't set anything up. We haven't run our two variable data table yet, but we have house cost at the top and we have APR going down the column. Now we're ready to highlight all the cells. So we're going to highlight I3 through L20. We're going to go to data, what if, data table, and now we have, this is a two variable data table. The columns have our annual percentage rate, and just like last time, the annual percentage rate is right here in cell B4. The rows have the house cost, and the house cost is right here in B2. So here are my two variables, house cost and APR. When we hit OK, we've told Excel populate all of these cells with monthly payment. That's why we put the monthly payment in I3. Let's go ahead and hit OK. Alright, now look at these numbers. These are all monthly payment numbers. Keep in mind that in this first example over here, we were buying a house that cost $150. These houses cost $200, $225, and $250,000 respectively. So they're a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and put those three house costs along the top into accounting format just real quick. Okay, and we'll expand these columns. Alright, now we're where we want to be. So once again, house cost along the top. Down the column we have the APR, all monthly payments. So keep in mind, if I buy a $200,000 house at 4% interest, my monthly payments is $907 a month. At 8%, they're about $1,400 a month. The only difference, it's the same house. It's the same exact $200,000 house. The only difference is one has an APR of 4, one has an APR of 8, and we're paying an extra $400 per month attributed just to interest. Okay. Now if we bought a $250,000 house, the 4% APR will give us a monthly payment of $1,145, and the 8% APR will give us a difference, a monthly payment of $1,761. So it's a huge difference between the 4% and the 8%, and that's what we're trying to demonstrate with these data tables. And again, keep in mind that this chapter is called What If Analysis. What if the interest rate was 4%? What if it was 5? What if it was 6? What would the impact be? What if it was 7? What if it was 8? Okay, the only formatting that we need to do, because everything looks great, is instead of having 668.38 there, we want to change that one to APR, just like we did in the first example. So we'll go number, we'll go down to custom, we'll scroll up to general, and we'll type in quotes APR, and then hit OK. And we'll put that as bolded and centered. And we're done with Chapter 6 and hands-on exercise number 1.